Hello, it's Dr. Darnise. Welcome into another episode of Dr. Darnise's House of Religion, Magic, and History. And today we're taking a look at that Kirk Franklin video that has the internet all abuzz. Father's Day, which is the name of a Kirk Franklin project he has coming out. Have y'all seen it? It's right here on YouTube. And all the internet is abuzz about it. And I want to talk about it because, Kirk Franklin is one of the most popular gospel artists today. And it kind of connects to the way people elevate people in the Black church, right? And ministers, other religious leaders, right? And so Kirk Franklin is one of these people who has gotten to all kind of levels of fame in gospel. And what tends to happen among Black Christians in particular is an elevation of people as if they don't have problems. And then feeling a great sense of disappointment when you find out the pastor's not perfect, the first lady's not perfect, the minister's not perfect. And a lot of times, they got a lot going on, and sometimes they need to sit down somewhere. But in this case with Kirk Franklin, we've kind of been watching him through a number of his challenges, right? It was all over the internet, the problems he was having with his oldest son, Keon, and, they were not getting along, and that voicemail got leaked all over the internet. So we already had a look within that family unit to know like something isn't quite good, something isn't great. But remember, these are people. And just because they're leaders in the Black church, they're leaders in gospel music, doesn't mean they're not struggling. And so, the nature of the gossip machine is that it keeps gossip going. As if, though, somehow these people are different from the rest of us. And they're not really. And so some of the things that they're in public showing are things that other people are dealing with as well. So this documentary is, it shows how he has been trying to find his father, right? He was adopted. He shares that he would, at various points in life, was homeless. He's always been struggling with who he is because he didn't really know his parentage, and then he didn't really know his father, and the person he thought was his father died, and then he was like, oh wait, that wasn't really my father. Now we know how this affects people in our community, just day in and day out. And especially Black men don't talk about these things, right? So we just have a population within Black communities that are not being served. Black men don't want to talk about certain things because that's not their way. They don't want to put their business out there. They don't want to be perceived as weak. They don't want to go to therapy because that might be perceived as weak or needing help. And so that's kind of why I wanted to talk about this, is to say, people need help. And Black men need a particular kind of help too. Mostly I coach Black women because I say Black women need a particular kind of help. And, I basically signed up for that. Black men also need a particular kind of help. And I tend to think that Black men are the ones to be most helpful for other Black men. And so looking at this Kirk Franklin documentary, again, if you haven't seen it, it's right here on YouTube and you can just, search it and watch it. He's doing a tremendous service, I think, as one Black man demonstrating to other Black men that it's okay to be in therapy. It's okay to admit that you don't know how to give love in the healthiest of ways and why, right? What kind of systems have you come from in your own family? What kind of breakdown has there been in your own family? Because every family has something. People deal with addictions, people deal with, anger issues. One parent is in and out, parent not unknown. People grew up in a foster care system, people lived in their cars, uh, the whole human range, right? But Kirk Franklin said, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to let people see what it has been for me to not have father, to not know who my father was, to not know who I was. They have seen other parts of my life, right? And judged me, right? People have judged him about how he interacted with his son. And it wasn't the best, right? But there's always the backstory. And when we only get the little tip of the iceberg as gossip, then we tend to forget that there are people like us. And we say something like, oh, well, he's rich and famous and he should have done this and he should have done that. He has all that money, so he should have. But he's still a black man and he's still coming from a certain community that says therapy for black men is not cool. It's only in very recent, I don't know, in the last, I'm going to say 5 minutes, in the last, like, I don't know, 5, 10 years, has it even been something that a lot of black men are even willing to talk about? So I'm coming on here today to talk about the documentary in the sense that, hey, I think this is doing a service that a lot of black men can benefit from. In addition to Kirk Franklin sharing his own personal story, how he's getting free, so to speak, from a lot of his own issues around identity and not knowing, his father, his issues with his mother. In addition to him opening up and sharing that, he's also saying to other black men, hey, it's okay. You can get help and you're still cool. Like, and our communities need that. So that's what I wanted to mention. So if you've seen it, you have comments about, the mother. People are talking negatively about his mother, Deborah, right, and his auntie, Sandra, that they have kept something from him. And so people are kind of like taking sides on the internet, of course, and talking negatively about his mother, Deborah. And, she is in this, I don't know what, this cycle of denial. I guess I'll say it that way. She's in a cycle of denial. And as I watched it and watched her, I thought, whatever happened to her is so shameful and so painful. She can't admit. She can't admit that this man, Mr. Rick, that she was with him as a young girl. I mean, this must have happened when they were young teenagers, right? Something happened and we don't know that. And it's really not our business. The internet likes to think we should know everything. It's not our business. But what we can know is something really difficult and shameful happened to her. And so she can't even admit it. She can't admit it. So I look at that with some degree of compassion, even though I'm also looking at it, as Kirk, really like really you're gonna keep telling this same lie? Yeah, looks like she's gonna keep telling that same lie. But she's coming from a place of pain. So anyway, I'd be curious to hear your comments about it, what you thought, if you thought about it in terms of how it might be helpful for Black men. Let me know your thoughts. Please join me on Patreon, support the channel, all kind of good stuff like that. And that's it. Bye for now.